Hello and welcome back to another episode of Power Rangers Lore. Sorry about last week, we took a little break there. I had a lot to catch up on at work. But today we're going to start out strong, talking about a good favorite of SPD, Dr. Cat Manx. Now, I had to take a little time to figure out how to pronounce her name because it's M-A-N-X, and English language is a pain in the butt. So, I had to make sure it was pronounced that way before restarting this entire video and going on from there. So, who is Dr. Cat Manx? Well, she is first originally shown off to be the Rangers' tech support, and she designed most of the Rangers' weapons, as well as Anubis Cruger's trusted assistant and friend, which is weird because we all know that Doggy Cruger is of a dog alien species, and Dr. Manx is of a cat-human hybrid. And you know how cats and dogs get along not very well. So, she is an alien from another planet. It is never specified what planet she is from. It is completely unknown. However, what we do know about her, she is extremely intelligent and very good fighting skills. Now, why is she not immediately a candidate for the Rangers? Well, I think she chose not to be a candidate because she thought she could be more useful behind a desk rather than on the battlefield, though she is seen on the battlefield at least once and able to hold her own against the forces of evil pretty well. Now, she's 147 human years old and is very youthful in appearance because apparently it gets complicated, but so she holds the physique of a 22-year-old human because on her home planet, a year of her home planet is 7 times the length of Earth, so if you times 21 times 7 is 147 years. Yeah, so I did, simple math there. Yeah, not really that simple. But she is part of the SPD grouping there and works to help the Rangers and the forces of good to fight against evil. Now, let's go on to some more interesting stuff. As when she was young, she attended the Science Academy alongside Professor Mooney, where she frequently found herself above him in terms of social and education status, much to his, he wasn't very happy about that. But he had to go along with it. Now, he has a strong dislike for her and a bitter desire to prove himself, but it eventually drove him mad, and we would see that another episode of this series where they would have come in conflict. Sorry, I had some little coughing going on there. Now, Cat would work in 2001 with the parents of the B Ranger Squad. Now, if you don't know the B Ranger Squad, that is the main focus of the series in the Power Ranger group. There's A Squad and B Squad. A Squad is kind of an elite force that is sent off to fight Emperor Grum in the beginning of the series, and B Squad is the luckless Rangers that we have to put up with for this series, who actually proved to be the true heroes of the entire SPD. Now, Cat worked with their parents in developing morphing technology used by the SPD morphers. However, there was side effects that Cat did not expect, mainly because she was thinking of alien biology rather than human biology, and it affected the parents differently as well as their children, who would become B Squad, and gave them essentially superpowers. That is why we see them different from all the other humans on there, which is super strength, the ability to multiply, and a whole bunch of other different powers such as mind reading or so much more. So she would inadvertently create these superhumans, which is not something I would have expected that would have been mass produced at that point, but I guess they didn't want to make humans into weapons per se. But you would think for SPD, increasing your power to that point of being not just a normal soldier but beyond that thing would be more impressive and would help the Rangers in the future fighting against the forces of evil. But it becomes complicated with super soldiers, so we're gonna leave that there. Now, later on, she would be recruited to the SPD Central Command, which basically she was already a part of SPD but moved into Central Command as requested by Fowler Birdie, who is a big bird. They're not very original with these names: Cat Minx, Anubis Cruger, and Fowler Birdie. Let's get some more animals in there. Why can't we? Now, oh look, it's Broodwing. Oh, he's a bat. So, she would return to Earth with temporary morphers and become, for a time, the SPD Cat Ranger to style an adult Mooney. Later on in the series, you would see her fight off the forces of Winds, where she shows her skills very well. She's able to defeat the forces of evil pretty handily. She does a lot of flips. She's got the cat's grace on there, always landing on her feet and having no troubles at all. However, the Ranger Morpher was only temporary, as specified earlier, and would only last for an hour. As to why she could not figure a way to extend it out further, it is unknown, because, well, it gave a really blah answer, not a real answer, but in the end, I think she'd be a really good addition to the forces of good, not forces of evil, forces of good, to help fight off these ranger battles, and would not, though, for some reason. Now, she would have an assistant by the name of Boom, who was a human and very, very luckless. Like, he was supposed to be the comedy relief of the entire series, but also kind of like sad, because all he was trying to do is become a ranger, and he was just not very good at like anything. Like, he was always taking the hit. He was a test dummy essentially for all the experiments, and he kind of enjoyed it, but he really wanted to be something more, because he always told his parents he was a ranger, and they had a whole episode dedicated to him explaining to his parents that, oh, I'm a ranger, but in the end it explained that he wasn't a ranger, and he was just trying to impress them, and he was a test dummy, which they accepted, and because this is Power Rangers, and they would not do that. They would not go, ha, you're never going to be a ranger. Now, she and Boom would later be captured by Broodwing near the end of the series, and would basically attempt to hold him off after they escaped in the final battle, waiting for Sergeant Silverback, who is a silverback gorilla, and he's an alien. Again, those original names are amazing. And would basically hold back the forces of evil and with the rest of the SPD cadets in the battle to protect the Delta base, and they would leave off just long enough for Silverback to come in, as well as the Nova Ranger, to allow him to defeat the enemies. Now, she would also help in the defeat of Omni the Magnificent, who is basically another like giant brain Cthulhu monster, space monster creature that Grum was actually serving. Emperor Grum was actually just a pawn and the face of the forces of evil, but reality it was Omni the Magnificent. And she would find out its weak points, giving information to Kruger and the Rangers to use to destroy Omni once and for all. But she thought it would cost Kruger his life, and was against it at first, but she was relieved to see that Kruger would do it and would survive along with his wife, because Emperor Grum kept her as basically a hostage and a, hey, I've got your wife, you won't dare attack me. Never worked out that way, because the force of goods will always triumph in the Power Rangers universe. Now, she would remain on SPD Earth Station for the duration of the rest of the series, and would continue on for there, because she was later going to be moved up the ranks, just because she thought there would be better opportunities out there. But she said, my best work has been on Earth, and I'm going to remain here. So now she would supposed to show up in Super Mega Force, but did not, because she was supposed to fight in the final battles of the against the Armada. However, she is not seen there, even though her Sentai counterpart is seen in the Legendary War. But maybe she was just somewhere areas where the speculation was. She was not. It'd be really cool to actually see her more going on there. She is also seen in the Shattered Grid during the attack of Draken on the year 2050. They fight and do some good old damage and stuff like that, but again, they're stuck there. They're unable to help. Now, these also seen in Legacy War as well as Battle for the Grid, the game. They're both playable characters, and pretty much story going on there. But she does a lot of flips with the cat's grace. Now, she has arsenal of cat stunners and her cat morpher. Now, that's basically it. She's just really good at like throwing sparkles and the stuff like that. She is just a one-off ranger that's only given his powers for an entire episode, By type of episode, I mean literally an hour, which is basically 24 minutes for an episode. Now, anything else for her character-wise, there is not much there. She is a very good mentor slash alpha type person. She's basically meant to be the alpha of the group to base tech support and the like, while Doggy Cruger, who is the Zordon mentor leadership, while also becoming a ranger himself, he is a good leader. She is supposed to be the side board there and support for him, talking more about his background and her background and all that. Now, her name, Cat Manx, is inspired by the Manx cat. It's just literally backwards with the C replaced by a K. And that's kind of it, that it has her own world. But it is one thing stated before I finish off anything else. She is considered to be classified as a white ranger in her suit, but reality-wise, her suit is mostly orange. Why is that? We don't know. There's never really been a true orange ranger, but there has been a lot of white rangers, and she has some white there, so I think that's where they're pushing towards it. But hey, but Draken in the series will go, what is this orange ranger doing? Maybe he's confused. Maybe he doesn't even qualify that she is worthy of being a white ranger. You never know. Now, this is this week's episode of Cat Manx. I hope you guys liked it. I will have another episode later on to make up for last week's debacle of not being able to put one out. She is a interesting character. I wish they do more with her, because they've called back to other intelligent characters, such as we had Dr. K from RPM, and I'm hoping they bring back her, Dr. Cat, because I would like to see that. And a lot of people liked her character, mainly because she was a cat girl. Yeah, but we're not going to talk about that. So I hope to see you guys soon. May the power protect you always. Oh, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe before I forget. I'm really bad at doing this. Tell me what you guys think. Do you want to see here more episodes, or do you want to see more about what's the next thing you want to see? I'm really bad at talking. I'm just going to end it there. See you guys.